Hello, everybody, and thank you to the Lee and Low team for having me. My name is Wendy Xiao. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Educational Design Specialist here at the Asia Foundation. I am an East Asian woman with short black hair. I'm wearing glasses and a black shirt, and I have a blurred tan background. And I'm truly honored to be here today to share just a sneak peek on the Let's Read Decodable Books collection. So, for some background, Let's Read is an early literacy program fostering the joy of reading across Asia and the Pacific, and we work in 12 countries across the region. We have a free digital library with over 10,000 children's books in 60 plus languages, and millions of children have access to books in both their primary language as well as in English. And one of the pillars of our program is creating high quality, culturally relevant storybooks in partnership with local authors and illustrators. And so back in 2023, we started thinking about creating these decodable books. There was a huge increase in demand from parents, especially who really wanted high quality, diverse books for their children who were learning how to read in English. And so at the foundation of creating decodables is really the scope and sequence. And so we looked at many different research-based scope and sequences when we set out to create our decodables. And ultimately, our evidence-based scope and sequence is most closely aligned with Wilson Foundations. But these books are really designed to work alongside any explicit systematic phonics program. So it really moves from simple letter sound relationships to more complex relationships. And whatever you're using in your classroom, these decodables are meant to be additional practice opportunities for your students. Within our collection, every decodable maintains at least 90% decodability against our scope and sequence, which means that 90% or more of the words are decodable. And we spiral previously introduced letter sound relationships throughout the series. So students are continuously reinforcing previously learned skills as they move through the books. We also cross-referenced high frequency word lists for both kindergarten and first grade to make sure that students are encountering words that they've mastered or already learning in those grades. And for the fall, the books that are being released, which are books 1 through 10, they focus on short vowels, consonants, CVC words, digraphs, and the nasal and sound. And so within each decodable, you'll see a table with all of the information that you really need to prepare your students and in your classroom. And then lastly, a little piece to know is that when we were working with our illustrators, really asked them to bring that story to life, but not to give the text away. So students really have to use their decoding skills to sound out the words themselves, and they can't just look at the picture and guess. Now, here's what makes this decodable collection unique. So we worked with authors and illustrators from 7 of the 12 countries where we have programming, and each story truly pulls directly from their lived experiences. We were guided by Redeemed Sims Bishop's concept of mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors. So the idea that children need books that reflect their own lives, that serve as mirrors, books that allow readers to see the lives, cultures, worlds that they haven't encountered before and really serve as windows. And also books that invite readers to step into those imagined worlds and experience them fully, really feeling the empathy from the characters and serving as sliding glass doors. So we built this Decodable Books collection around this framework, and our goal was really to create decodables that feel rich, authentic, and are genuinely representative of children across Asia and the Pacific. And so the illustrations that you see on this page, you're transported into 3 different worlds. The far left in Ben and Bob, students will visit the rural Philippines. In the middle is they will get to go on a monkey adventure with monkeys in Nepal. And then on the far right, they'll visit the forests of Sumatra in Indonesia and get to meet a tip here. So these settings are real, the details are authentic, and the cultural vocabulary is very intentional. And every decodable also comes with a page at the end, so the back matter, that really provides this additional context about the setting, the key cultural vocabulary, and the world behind the story. So, how can you use these decodables in your classroom and also supporting families at home? First, it's very important to note that these are supplemental resources, so they're meant to complement your core phonics instruction. They're that application layer, so a place for students to really apply and practice the skills that they're already learning in the classroom. And before students even open the book as pre-reading, it's really important to practice those target words and high frequency words so that when students encounter them in the text in context, they're able to decode them with fluency and confidence rather than stumbling across them for the first time. And as part of that pre-reading, we also recommend using that back matter page to build background knowledge and really expand students' worldview. So this is where that cultural richness comes in. You can pull up real images of the different communities, settings that students are going to see in the books themselves. So you can pull up what the rural Philippines community might look like. You can also look at what Java might look like. So in this rightmost illustration, you can see a home of a typical Javanese house, which is Java is the fifth largest island in Indonesia. So something very different for many students in the US to take a look at. And this is also a great moment to review the vocabulary that's introduced in the back of the story so that students have the context that they need to really step into the story with curiosity. And then when you're actually reading reading the decodable with your students, whether that's individually, in pairs and small groups, or as a whole group, really making sure to prompt them to use their decoding skills, slow down when they get stuck on a word, and really isolate those sounds, blend them together, really supporting your students as they're navigating these decodables. And then finally, encouraging students to reread the decodables at home. So this is a great opportunity for fluency. So you can send the book home, let families know that rereading is where fluency really builds. And they'll also give it back matter too, so they'll have that cultural context as well. So in closing, these decodables are really meant to integrate into your existing instruction and amplify it by making it richer, more global, and more representative than it might have been before. And we believe that your students deserve books that let them practice their letter sound relationships while also giving them a reason to read. And so we believe that this collection really does those both really well, and we can't wait to see them in your classrooms supporting your instruction. Thank you.